Hi everyone, my name is Leila Tilab and I'm working with Dr. Mira Goral at the Neurolinguistics Lab at Lehman College. Today I will be talking about a cross-linguistic look at negation processing in individuals with aphasia. So what is aphasia? According to the National Institute of Deafness and Other Communication Disorders, aphasia is a disorder that results from damage to portions of the brain that are responsible for language. For most people, these areas are on the left side of the brain. Aphasia usually occurs suddenly, often following a stroke or head injury, but it may also develop slowly as the result of a brain tumor or a progressive neurological disease. The disorder impairs the expression and understanding of language, as well as reading and writing. Aphasia is caused by damage to one or more of the language areas of the brain. Most often, the cause of the brain injury is a stroke. A stroke occurs when a blood clot, or a leaking, or a burst vessel cuts off blood flow to part of the brain. Brain cells die when they do not receive their normal supply of blood, which carries oxygen and important nutrients. Other causes of brain injury are severe blows to the head, brain tumors, gunshot wounds, brain infections, and progressive neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's disease. So this project that we are working on is an international collaboration. We are collaborating with English, Arabic, Spanish, and Hebrew-speaking individuals. And we are looking at negation processing, so including production and comprehension in aphasia across these languages. So what is our research question? We want to know, does morphological and syntactic complexity of negation structure impact comprehension and production? By cross-linguistically comparing negation processes across English, Arabic, Spanish, and Hebrew, we have observed that the manifestation of negation across these languages is similar in some aspects, but different in others. So for this project, we generated 2 tests in English, Arabic, Hebrew, and Spanish. The 2 tests are the repetition test and the say the opposite test. For the repetition test, the individual administering the test would say either an affirmative sentence or a negation sentence, and the participant would have to repeat the same sentence back. In the say the opposite test, the individual administering the test would again say either an affirmative sentence or a negation sentence, and the participant would say the opposite. So, for example, in English, if the administrator said, "The aunt closes doors," the participant is expected to say, "The aunt does not close doors." And in Egyptian Arabic, the administrator would say, "El-khala بتقفل بيبان." The negation form of this sentence changes the verb. So here the affirmative form of the verb is بتقفل, but when we add negation, we add a morphological marker to the beginning and end of the verb. It becomes ما بتقفلش. So we added ما to the beginning and sh to the end of the verb. So here are some examples of the repetition task. We found that in Arabic, negation changes when we are negating a verb versus when we are negating an adjective. In English, negation happens after the auxiliary verb. In Arabic, there is no auxiliary verb. So if we are negating verbs in Arabic, we add a morphological marker to the beginning and end of the verb. For example, in order to say the aunt does not buy milk, we change it from the affirmative بتشتري to ما بتشتريش. We add a ma before the verb and a sh at the end of the verb. When we negate adjectives, it's a little different. In order to negate adjectives, we do not change the adjective itself in any way, but we add the word mish before the adjective. This is similar to saying the word not before an adjective in English. So in the example of the cat is not nice, the affirmative Arabic is القطة طيبة, and the negation form is القطة مش طيبة. Here are some examples of the say the opposite task. So say we wanted to administer the sentence, the father is cleaning. We would want to receive the father is not cleaning as a response from the participant. In Arabic, we would say el-ab binaddaf, and the participant would be asked to say the opposite of that, which is el-ab ma binaddafsh. So again, they are expected to add ma to the beginning and sh to the end in order to properly negate the sentence. So we face some challenges when translating between English and Arabic because some things cannot be translated directly and the grammar systems between the two languages are different. For the say the opposite task, there are some cases where we cannot directly translate the opposites of single words. There are some words in Arabic that do not have a direct opposite word. For example, there is no opposite of sensitive as there is in English. In Arabic, we would have to negate the word sentence in order to get the opposite. So it would be like saying not sensitive, but we do not have insensitive. We also encountered a problem when negating the word never in Arabic. There are two forms that could be used, and it is not apparent which form is more natural. So for example, say the phrase is the girl never sings. One form is البنت ما بتغنيش أبدا, which directly translates to the girl not sings ever. Another form is البنت عمرها ما بتغني, which directly translates to the girl in her life not sing. There are also some adjectives used in English that are not as common in Arabic, and we want to use everyday language with our participants. Finally, we face a challenge with the variability across dialects in Arabic. There are several dialects of Arabic, and we are focusing on Egyptian Arabic here, but we are also working with Palestinian Arabic within the project. Since there is variability across dialects, not every affirmative or negation form will look the same across the dialects. So what are our future plans? The tests have all been generated now, so we are working on the administration forms that we will be using when we collect data. We will be working with English, Hebrew, Arabic, and Spanish-speaking individuals to collect data for the repetition task and the say the opposite task. So what are the implications moving forward? Well, this project will ultimately help us understand the linguistic impairment associated with aphasia. And this project will ultimately help in developing treatment associated with this impairment.